Craving your next action-packed adventure? Audible delivers thrills of every kind on your command, like Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, where a lone astronaut must save humanity from extinction, narrated with stunning intensity by Ray Porter. From electrifying suspense and daring quest to spine-tingling horror and romance in far-off realms, unleash your adventurous side with gripping titles that'll keep you guessing. Discover exclusive Audible originals, hotly anticipated new releases, and must-listen bestsellers that hook you from the first minute. Because Audible knows there's no greater thrill than the one that speaks to you. Discover what lies beyond the edge of your seat. Start your free 30-day trial at audible.com/WonderyUS. That's audible.com/WonderyUS.
Hello, welcome. Let's chat. It's hard. You want to talk? I know, that's disappointing. Sit back. Let's work this out. How's it going? What are we doing here? Where are you going? Hey there. Wow. It's not always easy. It's amazing if you think about it. Let's think about this. Strange. I have some thoughts about that. Life is hard. Trauma bonded.
No matter what I say, just answer no, okay? You ready? Hey, T. Well, you're not gonna cook dinner, are ya?
No.
Oh, but I bet you'll eat it, won't ya?
No.
And scene.
Did I deliver that line right? I'm not sure if I had the motivation right. You're hitting it every time. You're hitting it every time.
I appreciate that. Welcome to Trauma Bonded. I'm Elly Westberg here with Therese Garcia.
Hello.
And today we're discussing episode 357 of the podcast. This is actually happening. What if you were the girl locked upstairs? A brief. A vulnerable girl, having already endured abuse from her schizophrenic mother, loses her freedom and innocence when a trusted adult lures her into an unthinkable decade of captivity. And full disclosure, I work for This Is Actually Happening, and T doesn't work on the show, but she's okay. But she comes in fresh. And this show, Trauma/Bonded, is for the listeners, a space where we can talk about each episode, digest it, and reflect on it with empathy and also a bit of levity. That's Trauma Bonded. T, what stuck out to you is the heart of Tanya's story.
Thank you, Elly. I thought the heart today could be distilled into one word. And I went with the word name.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, thank you.
Because I did write down her new name, and it got me thinking about this idea of dead naming new names, how important
yes.
naming is. Yeah, go on.
I was thinking that as well. And I thought a lot about that actually, Elly, and I didn't actually put that in my write-up, but I thought about that a lot. So, our name is very important. And I was reminded of the words you actually shared, Elly, at your grandmother's funeral.
Moi?
Yes. Do you know what I'm talking about? You died twice. Is that the quote?
You died 3 times.
Oh, is it 3 times?
Mm.
Okay, go ahead. You tell me the quote then.
You die a physical death, and you die a death when you're buried or eulogized. And the last death a person dies is the last time someone speaks their name aloud.
Okay, yes. So that's what I was thinking when I chose this heart. And in a way, that's what Tanya's captor tried to do to her. Though he didn't actually kill her, that's what Tanya's captor was trying to do to her, though he didn't actually kill her, right? He did try to take her identity
Yeah.
and erase her. He would say things like he owns her now, right? and he ended up forcing her into a life that wasn't her own and tried to make the world forget that she ever existed
Mm.
by giving her a new name. But Tanya survived. And when I was thinking about it, her name isn't just what she's called. It really became her journey and how she reclaimed her truth and how she went from silence to finding her voice, from victim to survivor, and ultimately from being defined by others to defining herself.
That's beautiful.
So our name holds a lot of weight. It's not just our identity, it's our legacy and it's our power.
Wow, that makes me feel really bad about a conversation I had today.
Oh no.
I'm working with this PA on set, and her name is Nikki, but she looks like an Erin to me.
Oh no, that's
And I
not.
keep mistakenly well, I don't anymore, but the first few days, mistakenly calling her Erin, and I said to her today, I said, I'm so sorry that I did that. You don't look like a Nikki to me, you look like an Erin." And, and I said, "Can I call you Erin?" And she said, "No."
Good for her, I say.
Good for her,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's, yeah.
And it inspired a conversation about the power of names, and I think you're absolutely right.
Well, that's a good lesson.
Tanya's story, he didn't want her to have an identity. I mean, you could argue that, but for all intents and purposes, he wanted a live sex doll. I mean, that's how he treated her. So, of course, he wanted to rename her. He wanted to remove any kind of past, present, or future that she would ever have. He would just wanted her to be his possession, his creation, and he was able to get away with that for 10 years. Think about that.
Oh my god.
Think about losing last week, our episode was called, "What if they stole a year of your life?" This week's episode could have been called, "What if they stole 10 years of your life?" Which is what he did.
Formative years too.
Like, you could argue some of the most important.
Yeah.
The heart of the story for me, I have to remind myself that this isn't some weird 1960s, 1970s story, you know? She was lured into his home in 1995 and wasn't rescued until 2005. And obviously, we're more aware of human trafficking than ever. We're more aware of domestic violence than ever, and this is happening in our neighborhoods. And I guess the heart to me is it's a call to be vigilant, be nosy, be concerned for others, and really be Joe. I mean, that is very much as much as Tanya is the hero of the story, Joe is the hero of the story. Because preteen kids or people, women in domestic violence situations often need a nudge to ask for help because it's not as simple as jumping out a window. Part of the brainwashing is a constant reminder that the person that has them has all of the power and won't only just hurt them, but will hurt the people that they love. So when they stick around sometimes, it's not even for their own protection, it's to protect people that they care about. It's sacrificial, and that's why her estrangement from her father is so upsetting because he doesn't recognize that she was doing it for him, for his protection. It's whew. T, have you watched the Lifetime movie based on Tanya's story?
I have not. I didn't even know there was a Lifetime. What's that called?
It's called, Girl Locked Upstairs.
Oh, geez. No.
As a Lifetime movie network subscriber,
Oh.
I have watched this movie.
Oh, did you watch it before?
No. Actually,
Oh, okay.
when I did the pre-interview with Tanya, she talked to me about sort of being a consultant on the film. And the part at the end of the story when Tom yells after her and calls her Judas, that wasn't in the original script. It wasn't in the original plot of the movie. And because of her presence on set or because she pushed for it, she thought it was so important, especially because of her faith or Christianity. They went back and did a pickup day and filmed the ending so that they included that portion based on her request. It was really important to her.
Talk about names, you know?
Yeah, Judas, that's a name.
That is a name.
It's wild how, because Christianity is so ubiquitous in our lives, even if we're not seeking it out, even the most atheistic sinners among us know what it means to be called a Judas, right? That's just something we
I
know.
mean, I was raised Catholic, so that's why I know. But I don't think my kids know. Thank God.
They will find out or not. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, let's get into the episode. She talks about early on her mother was diagnosed as a schizophrenic, and this was after her chasing her around trying to kill her because the voices in her head said to. And she gets medicated and it seems to be going so well. And then what happens?
What's that about? Oh, maybe her mom. Maybe her mom was
I think it's one of two reasons, possibly
okay.
a combination of both. So if you didn't hear the episode for some reason and you just come to listen to us, Tanya's mother's Tanya's mother's mother told Tanya's mother to dump out her medication. What? What?
You lost me, but yeah, I
Tanya's
get you now.
grandmother told her mother that she didn't need that medication and she should dump it out, and which she did.
You're fine.
So what is the reasoning behind this? I think it's twofold,
I've got some
or
theories, but
one of two. One, and keep in mind, I mean, Tanya is essentially our age or like in our age range, right? She's actually younger than both of us, which is weird. That's what I'm saying. This story is of our time, and I think we think of it as something old, but it's of our time.
well, she's my age,
She's
right?
younger than you. So her grandma, I think it came down to she didn't want her daughter to be schizophrenic because it reflected poorly on her, right? If she capitulates to this idea that her daughter should be medicated because she's a schizophrenic, that means that she's failed somehow in her parenting because that generation didn't really bind to mental illness or had much education around the idea, right? It was very stigmatized. Or
Mhm.
God,
Mhm.
right? The church has a vested interest in keeping their people sick and tired and poor and really full of, like, kids, heavy in children. It's this idea that God will heal you, God will protect you. You don't need Western medicine because God heals and sees you. And then sidebar, the more I think about why the church was created in the first place was very much to keep people in line, and I can't think of a more evil entity, truly. Sorry, Christian listeners, but, I mean, think about it. The church does have a vested interest in keeping their people sick, tired, poor, and heavy with children, right? Anything that keeps you coming back to God, coming back to church, giving to church to solve your problems, they enjoy, they need, they require. Sorry, that I just felt like that was an open door to talk shit about the church again, which, we love to do on the show.
We do.
Yeah.
And we know they were religious, so
And y'all, this isn't an an indictment of Tanya's personal relationship with God. I'm fine with that. I'm
I'm
talking
fine
about
with
the
that too.
I'm talking about the church as an institution, okay?
Yeah. That's funny because I also feel the same.
Yeah,
I think both can exist.
absolutely, absolutely. Why do you think the mother made her flush the pills?
She's a bitch, that's why. Fuck her.
I thought that was a good enough answer.
Yeah, I thought so.
Sometimes bitches are just gonna be bitches. So Tanya lived in fear of her own mother, that she'd kill her because of the voices in her head, like, fucking hell. It really pisses me off because her having that grandmother having her destroy that medication, it kept Tanya in fear and bondage, and it kept her own daughter in fear and bondage. And
And she gets
just
to watch her just it's 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 so scary because she gets to watch her mom throw it down the toilet. Like, what kind of torture is that? Like, if you're gonna be the grandmother to make your grand your daughter throw the medication into the toilet, why are you gonna make your granddaughter watch it when you know she's gonna be threatened?
Who is the object of the mother's derision? Like, she's the one that
Yeah,
got chased and
like, what
threatened with a
kind of
knife.
fucked up like,
Yeah.
the grandmother isn't in any sort of danger.
I mean, there's some terrible men in the story, but there's also some terrible women in the story.
Yeah, what is that?
Internalized misogyny. The world hates women. I mean, it's obvious, right? And I wondered, Tanya talks about how her mom kept pursuing custody. After she lost custody, she kept pursuing custody. Why is her mother pursuing custody after losing it?
I think, those moments. I think she still has those moments of wanting her daughter and
It's
right?
natural, natural.
Yeah, she loves her daughter.
And what is it in us that seeks relationship with an abusive parent?
Yeah, it's tough.
I mean, everyone talks about this. I mean, there's so much science behind attachment between mother and child, and those first few months are really critical. And if mental illness enters the picture and someone turns or is different, there's still always that desire to have relationship, despite all of the hurt that's been passed along. It's fascinating, really,
I mean, it sounds like the first 6 years were good.
which was probably a good foundation for her. I mean, you think about these kids that are born to mothers that they don't attach to them because of mental illness or drug addiction, whatever it is, and those kids definitely have the most, without that foundation, they have the worst, hardest time, and it is a trait of serial killers. There's, like, 3 things, 3, points that sort of predict a serial killer's potential. And one of them is attachment to or not
Mhm.
attaching to their mother. That's how
Yeah,
important it is. So Tanya testifies that she should live with her dad, and to me, this is just like her being wise beyond her years. Even though she craves her mother's love, she knew it made more sense to live with her father, who she ends up becoming close to. And she talks about this friend Ricky that she has. What do you think the importance of Ricky is to her story?
definitely someone she trusts outside of her family, and then someone who leaves.
Yeah. I mean, it's the loss of Ricky, right?
You
I mean,
know,
it
it's devastating.
it's almost as if Ricky could have been a barrier to what happened to her. Someone that she could confide in and talk to, someone that would notice that she's missing and say something. So, the loss of Ricky to me just shines a light on her now being totally isolated and completely vulnerable.
Almost flailing and searching for someone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what do you do when you're a teenager and you don't have anyone? You rebel. I mean,
yeah,
this is part and parcel for aging, coming of age. And that was used as an excuse to be left behind by her father and his new girlfriend and their son. They've formed this little family unit, and she's on the outs because they don't like that she's smoking or whatever the fuck she's doing. I mean, teenagers are hard to connect with anyway. Sounds like she was kind of quiet and withdrawn, and it probably was really tough to, like, get her to express herself. But why would you further isolate her by keeping her apart from that family unit, you know? It's just so sad.
it's really sad. But you're thinking, "Oh, okay, well, I guess she'll just be in her room all the time," and
Yeah.
you don't think she'll just, you know I mean, I'm not thinking of course, I'm thinking I would always wanna engage with my kids, and you're always thinking that as a parent, like, even if they disconnect from me, I'm always gonna want to connect with them and bring them along no matter what. I'm gonna annoy them with how much I love them, right? That's what I'm hoping will happen, but,
You'd really
you
make a
know
marked effort to coax them out,
yeah.
like, "Come on, we're going bowling. Come on. I know
Oh,
you
yeah,
wanna go.
so annoying, right?
Come on, you gotta go."
I I'm annoying, and I'll be annoying for days and months and years forever, I'm hoping.
You're good at being annoying.
I'm so annoying.
You're relentless.
I am relentless.
But behind that relentlessness is love.
Of course. But, what if you get rejected over and over? I've never gotten rejected over and over and had someone look me in the face and tell me, "I hate you," over and over and I am so scared. Who knows? You know what I mean? But I do have that feeling in my heart that if someone says that to me over and over and again, like, I have that, they love me. Like, I'd still maybe, you know,
Mm,
it's weird. So, hopefully, I still will have that, but I've actually never experienced that, you know? But I'm so who knows what would happen. Anyway, but, like,
she's just
if
kidding.
she's just keen, right? But,
Hey,
like, who knows?
buddy.
You know, it's scary. If that were actually to happen, like, who knows after years and years, you know?
Yeah.
And they're like then you start to lose that connection, and then you start to think they'll just be in their room, and fine, they'll get out of this phase, and they'll just be in the room. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, and then one day, they're not in the room, and
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh,
Oh, I
wait,"
wish that we
you
could have
know?
learned more about sort of what was happening behind the scenes with her parents. Like, were they frantically searching? Were there what kind of effort was made by the community to find her, or was she just deemed a lost runaway? We don't
I
actually
mean
know.
I mean who even knows? But it's like
We could go to the library and probably look up, like, the microfiche of the news articles of the day.
you probably do interviews of the people, like, "Oh, she used to hang out with the security guard," or she used to and it's like,
Right, you wonder, like, was anything even I really wanna know, and maybe it's in her book. She wrote a book called,
research alert.
an autobiography called Memoir of a Milk Carton Kid, and perhaps I don't know if it's in there, but maybe we learn about what her parents did to try to find her. I'd be really curious about that. Maybe I'll just email her and ask her, or I'll get her to do a follow-up interview on the show. At any rate, her dad puts her into counseling, I mean, good for him, and then there's this bullying component as well that she's dealing with. So she's being isolated on all fronts. She has no one to confide in. She is, like, prime for being taken advantage of, and along comes Tom, a security guard at her school, and he presents that he cares, and all she wants is someone to give a fuck, and he does. Here's a question. Why is the school letting a security guard pull a student, a 14-year-old girl, out of class?
Yeah, but what's that? And then why wouldn't there be red flags? Like, if she suddenly disappears, like, "Oh, yeah, wasn't that weird
Oh,
that
the
he would pull
security
her
guard
out of
wants to
class
pull her out of
sometimes
class, and they'd go
to
under the
their
bleachers.
special space?"
Yeah. What the
Like,
fuck?
can't someone maybe notice?
So many people failed this girl.
Yeah,
It's a slow, insidious creeping into her soul is what he's doing, and he's laying out breadcrumbs, and he's painting this beautiful picture, and he's basically luring her into a trap. And who's this bitch Judy? Judy, Judy, Judy.
I was like when they were talking about it, I was like, "Is this some sort of trafficking thing?" Like, I didn't know what was going on.
When I watched the movie on Lifetime, I got the vibe that maybe Judy had a crush on Tom or wanted to be with Tom, so she sort of did his bidding as a way to, like, ingratiate herself with him. I don't really fully know, but that was the vibe I got from watching them film.
Gross.
I mean, Judy sees that he's 38, Tanya's 14.
And then if you have a if ew,
Yeah, and it's at her home that he
yes, that's
rapes
why I'm
her for the
making that's what I'm
yeah,
that's
he rapes her for the first time and takes her virginity,
at
and
Judy's home.
at Judy's home, and Judy, by all accounts, is okay with it. Interestingly enough, he's got this 12-year-old son at home, which is this whole other factor, which is nuts to me. This kid's being lied to and told he's being told by his dad that he's taking care of this girl. They share a room, so Justin clearly hears them fornicating.
I don't I it's
Is it a big room? I don't think
what?
so.
It's a I makes absolutely no sense.
Well, you know
He's, like,
what
playing video games?
yeah. What's
I don't
weird
even
or it's
understand.
not weird, but I think it's interesting, and I think it's a choice, and I probably would've made the same choice if I was the writer, producer of the film. Justin is completely removed from the film. There is no Justin in the film.
Oh.
Yeah. It just makes it too complicated.
It it's
It makes it real
confusing.
muddy. Yeah.
I don't even understand. How like, where is he? What's he do He must be completely
Brainwashed.
less as
I'd be
well.
curious to know what his story is, what he where he is today, what he knows, what he thinks. I mean, he was a 12-year-old kid,
I'm scared of him.
he
I
observed the
mean,
whole thing, yeah.
yeah,
And at first, Tanya feels safe, and Judy gives her a makeover, and what made me wonder is, was that a directive of Tom to, like, give her disguise so that she could
oh,
be
yeah,
better hidden?
100%. Dye her hair, like, the whole thing.
So someone's clearly looking for her because the cops come over.
Yeah,
Something happened. That spooks her, and so now it's at this point that Tanya is just now under Tom's control in his house with his elderly parents living in the house
downstairs.
downstairs. And Tom fully, really does a number on her. Where it's me and you against the world, baby. She's got this sin element that she's worried about, that she's lost her virginity to him, and it's so insidious.
She's gotta memorize the creaks in the floorboards, so she can't make any noise at all, and she's gotta piss in buckets.
And poop, dude.
Oh, yeah, and then he's
Hey,
gonna, like,
hey, Carl, did you hear a noise upstairs? No, Hazel, you can't hear worth a damn. Our darling baby boy is so quiet. It's just them talking
yeah,
downstairs.
yes, that's
The
good.
fucking oblivious fuckers. And they let him get away with everything. It's just, I just imagine them thinking their darling baby boy can do
But
no wrong.
but also he's at work, so they're, like, just thinking, "There's a ghost upstairs or what?" He's at work, kids at school, so
And what else is fucked up about the bathrooming in the bucket is he had to dump it out downstairs, which to me says there wasn't even a bathroom upstairs. So all of them are in the same bathroom, which in and of itself is gross. Sorry, I get a second bathroom and I think I'm a god. Um, it's the little things. Tommy, why are you always carrying that bucket downstairs? That's his
I don't
mom.
wanna have to go all the way downstairs to go to the bathroom. What am I, an animal?
Tommy, what are you doing with that bucket?
Stop talking to me, mom.
And this is a time period, if you recall, the purity movement was very strong in the youth. This whole, dating your dad and saving yourself from marriage shit, like, wearing a promise ring and all that bullshit. So, of course, she felt really, really terrible that he's raped her and took her virginity. And let's be clear, he doesn't rape her every day. He rapes her twice every day, okay? This is why an adult male predator goes after a young girl, because if he tried to date someone his own age, ain't nobody going for that. "You're gonna wake me up at 4 a.m. to fuck me, especially in my ass? I don't think so." Women of an age have an agency. He knew this girl didn't, and he treated her like a fucking sex doll. He instilled fear to make her do it, but make no mistake, she was not complicit in this. This was rape. I would've told him to fuck right off, and maybe it would've been violent then, but he wants her to be complicit, and she is not it's not something that she wants to participate in. And then, I mean, the middle of the story is just time is passing, and he had her for 10 years. Think about that. What did you do between 14 and 24, T?
All the things.
A lot of things.
Life, all everything. That's when I did everything. Before then and after those years, was when I didn't do as much.
Mm,
I did too much between 14 and 24. I started to calm after 24, and then
I
before
mean,
14, I didn't really do much probably.
I met you when you were what, 26, 25, 26? And you did a lot
I did a
then.
lot after then too, but it started to hurt more. I was, like, kinda, like, tired.
You weren't tired. So
I guess I get
he talks about her cellulite. He doesn't feed her. She only eats his leftovers, and she drops to 90 pounds. And remember, again, this is 90s skinny. That was a problem then. And he owned her body. And again, I wrote in my notes. He's treating her like a live sex doll. And this is where she talks about him naming her a different name, Nikki Diane Ellen.
and he also disturbingly calendared everything, right? This dude, like, noted every time they did any sexual thing and labeled what sexual position it was, kinda
Yeah,
thing. Like,
gross.
gross.
So years pass, and finally he creates this whole ruse that she's moving in, right? And his bitch mother is like, "Oh, my baby boy." She's
She's so oblivious.
No, keep in mind, so she's like, "What are you doing with her? Must be because your pretty face, right? Your son right now at this moment when this is happening, your son is 48. He lives at home. He's a security guard at a school, and you're going after her and accusing her of being good for nothing?" It just paints this picture of what this guy was getting away with his whole life, right?
Yeah.
And his mother is the epitome of internalized misogyny. She's got this whole, "Oh, my baby boy" personality.
Your baby boy's a psycho.
Moms with sons, teach your sons to respect women. Don't let them get away with everything because 'cause they're your stupid baby boy. Your baby boy is not gonna be a baby boy when he's 40 fucking 8 years old
Mhm.
and fucking young women, okay? And he's so dumb. "Oh, the Catholic God is different than the Methodist God." What a fucking idiot. It reminded me, the Methodists must really be into having thrift shops because, um, my my grandma my grandma's church had a Methodist gift shop called the Budget Corner, and my mom volunteered there. She would dress their windows and would take me there with her, and so I would just, like, play with the old ladies and while my mom was dressing the windows, and I have very strong memories, and these are probably some of the earliest memories I ever had of, like, playing in the clothes, like, in the clothing racks, like a circle rack and, like, going
Mhm.
in and hiding in the middle. But the other big visceral memory for me is in the back room with the donuts.
Oh,
I can
fun.
picture it very fatly, I mean, clearly.
With a PH.
Um, PH. Oh, F. Um, it must be a Methodist thing, this old women running for stores with donuts, I don't know. And then I wanna say that Joe is a fucking hero. Joe
For
is
real.
a man to aspire to be.
I love Joe and Jan.
Yeah, and I love how Tanya says that she kind of sees the love between them and is able to reflect on her own relationship, if you wanna call that, with Tom, and understand that what's happening with him isn't the desired outcome for a relationship. And Joe keeps prodding. He sees something wrong. He intuits something wrong, and he keeps prodding and pushing, and finally, after 10 years in captivity, Tanya breaks. Joe plans her escape via the cops, gives her a directive, and, oh, the satisfaction it must have been for Tanya to hear the detectives put Tom's ass in that seat and tell him to shut the fuck up. Mm,
Yes.
boom. Made me happy to think about.
Ah.
And here we are again. We see more about his parents that aren't paying attention.
Oh, what? What's going
What's
on?
going
What do
on?
you mean?
What did my darling baby boy do?" "He's a motherfucker." "Okay." stare out the window, and the dad just stayed out of the way. And that's how he got away with this for so long. There was a lot of complicit parties in her story that allowed this to happen to her, including his parents. God
Mhm.
rest their souls.
But it all took one person just to be like, "Wait,
This doesn't add up.
wait," and there's so many people 10 years ago who could have been like, "Wait, wait, just one wait.
Yeah,
Something isn't right." That's all.
that's what I'm saying. If you see something, say something. If you're be nosy, follow your intuition. You might be a lifeline to someone who is actually really suffering. Nowadays, it's wonderful. I mean, it's terrible. This is a terrible timeline, but, because of awareness, you go into an airport bathroom stall, and there's got the directions on there that says, this is kind of the a predominant place for human trafficking, and this is the signs to look for, or it says, "Are you being trafficked?" And it has it in different languages, and it encourages you to call someone. Like, pay attention. It's more predominant than we think it is. I feel like I've said this before, but I was at a Hooters, and I was in the bathroom, and it had a sign on the back of the bathroom stall door, and it said, "If you're feeling unsafe or you don't like the person you're with, etcetera, here are different drinks you can order at the bar that are code words." So, there's a code for, like, "I'm uncomfortable. Can you help me out of the situation?"
Love
And
that.
different levels, all the way to a code word for, "Please call the police." So, you can casually do it without getting noticed by the person you're there with. So,
Love that.
people are becoming more aware that this is a problem. We gotta look out for people, our most vulnerable people. Not being raped twice a day is a blessing.
She did say that. Yeah.
It's a way to put it. It's a fucking understatement if I've ever heard
Did
one.
feel like that as well. It did feel like
It's just
that.
such a blessing.
It's like I did.
You're
I
goddamn right
looked
about
away
that.
from stuff, but it was kind of nice. It's like a sigh of relief. It's like, "Oh, yeah."
For 10 years,
Yeah.
and to know the time is coming, and to be out of it, and to look at the time on the clock and know you don't have to do that anymore. God damn, what a relief. So and she talks about how she had to dig up Tanya. She had to dig up Tanya. She had to kill Nikki and resurrect Tanya. She had to find her back in there. And she was so vigilant about making sure that Tom didn't get out of prison, that he served the full extent of the
Can you
sentence he could serve.
imagine 5
No,
to 15 years, if he spent less than 10 years in
no,
prison, doesn't that not seem right?
mm-mm. It seems not right. It
I
seems
mean, it's just
wrong.
math at that point. Like, why would
She's
she be held captive for 10 and he would get 5?
right,
I
yeah.
mean, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
But she was vigilant, and she made sure that he served the full 15, and good for her.
Yeah, but a minimum 5. Like, I would minimum 10
Well,
if I
become
were
a
a
judge,
judge.
sweetie.
I mean, it's just math. She was held captive for 10.
Yeah, but she's
Go
just a
for 10.
girl,
Yeah, fuck her.
and he's not even remorseful.
I know, God.
Like, this is a situation that restorative justice wouldn't even work on.
I know, I was so glad. Sorry.
But there was no
I'm right back.
restorative.
I'm right back after all the RJs. I was like, "Oh, no, is this an RJ?" And I was like, right back. I was like, "Good. It's
No,
not.
I know.
I'm
Well,
sorry. I'm sorry, Whit. I'm sorry, Elly." But this one, I was like,
revenge,
"Yeah,
punish.
yes.
Well, he's not remorseful, so fuck
Yeah,
him. And "It's not my fault" is the most valuable thing that she learned in therapy, and I agree it is.
yeah,
And it's fucking dad of hers. "Why couldn't you jump out the window?" "Fuck you, dad."
yeah."
And incidentally, I was kind of looking up, I was trying to do some research to see if I could find, like, the original, media clip of what she talks about when she addresses the press in her living room after it happened. But I did stumble across a YouTube clip from 2012 where it talks about how because of her memoir, her dad sued her for defamation.
Really?
Yeah. They're estranged.
Mhm.
And this is a full circle moment. She
Mhm.
reconciles with her mother. Her mother is completely changed by the time she gets to see her, which is wonderful. Um, and I am worried about her management job at Kmart. I don't think that that's still can exist, right? Is it Kmart
I didn't
kaput?
yeah, probably not.
She's got 17 years with her man.
Mhm.
And then she mentions this hysterectomy she had to get from the sexual abuse. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck did he do to her?
Well,
Was it just
yeah.
because of frequency or I'm just
I can't yeah,
yeah. And then she mentions this full circle moment of
yeah.
now that Tom is back in this house after being released from prison.
I hope it haunts him for the rest of his life.
I hope he just looks at that bucket in the corner, thinks about what a loser he is. What happened to his son? You know? I'm sure his parents are dead.
His parents are dead. I hope
What
his
did happen
son
to his son? Did he become like his father? Where is he? But she helps others and she protects her grandkids, and God gave her the strength to overcome it. Hallelujah.
good.
Amen.
Great for you. Good.
Thank you for listening. This has been an episode of Trauma Bonded. You can find our show or podcast are kept. Please rate and review us. Thanks to Tanya for sharing their story and giving us the opportunity to talk about it. And thanks to the This Is Actually Happening team, including Whit, Missildine, Andrew Waits, and the maker of our music and website, Nathaniel Shamboli. And thanks to Cathy Sites in the house for editing the episode, and to Katy Caple for building those blasted Instagram posts. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. You can contact us at traumabondedpod@gmail.com or find us on Instagram at traumabondedpodofficial. We are trauma bonded to the story, to the storyteller, to the listeners, and to each other. Thanks for spending time with us today. Love you, T.
Love you, Elly. Good job. Hey, thank you.
Hey, thank you. Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Trauma Bond.